What's going on, guys? This is Damien from The Lookout, and I am here with Turtle Beast Gohan. Beast Gohan revisited, coming in with another weird deck Wednesday. This is a sore wound for me. I think that this leader has one of the best Awakened artworks ever made, and it's just like not being good. But this is my build. Maybe I inspire someone else to try it out. But if you want to try out good and bad decks, you can do so at Zenkai Showdown 4, 21st of September in Poznan, Poland. It's our event. We have some of the best prizes in Europe. It's gonna be streamed. It's gonna be amazing. Like, this is the 4th installment. Zenkai Showdown has always been huge. So guys, if you wish to play at one of these events, you can buy tickets through the link in the description below. And yeah, huge shout out to the Coffee Club, our lovely patrons. These are our $2 and up patrons, the best coffee. They keep this crazy content grind going. And guys, thanks out for support. If you wish to join the Coffee Club, link to a patron is in the description below. And I think that's about everything. Roll the video. As we told for our video, so let's start with the breakdown. So, weird deck Wednesday. Beast Gohan, very brief leader breakdown, not so much archetype. There's not a lot of new support, we'll just go over it. You know, truth be told, I was just lazy. So yeah, even someone who puts in more effort into these things needs to be lazy sometimes. So just like copy paste it, and now I'm just like reading this and thinking like, Damien, what the fuck? I'm gonna show you my deck list, and then we'll just skip the summary. Let's go. Here it is, Gohan Superhero, the Red Beast Gohan, the most underwhelming leader ever made, or at least one of the most underwhelming ones. Yeah, so Bandai, if you're listening, please, everyone was hyped when this leader was spoiled. We were all so excited for Beast Gohan, and it just ended up being so bad. Like, this deck needs such love. This deck needs such extreme amount of love and support. Like, whatever we have here at the moment is just not good enough. So the gimmick is to Z-Awaken really fast, but the archetype is colossal and it's pretty bad. That's what killed the deck, basically. With your Z extra, you will give pen to your opponent. Then you awaken. That always happens on turn 2. Believe it or not, what happened is it looks like I've misplaced, saved over the slide with the leader. So we'll just go over the awakened leader like this. Auto once per turn, when your Red Son Gohan Superhero or Piccolo Superhero attacks, you draw 1. The second auto just restands a Piccolo. And the last one basically says when your orange Piccolo uses blockers or if he's removed from the battle area by an opponent's kill, you go down to 4 lives and then you Z-Awaken. That's one of the problems with this deck. It's the archetype is colossal. The archetype is colossal. And I've tried building this without the archetype. Doesn't really work because you need to pay 2 energy and be on 3 lives. That's a bit of a steep price. However, let's go and check out the deck. Okay, let's start. So, let's get the archetype out of the way. As you can see, there's a billion cards here. 2 copies of Pan, the one that tutors. 2 copies of the Pan that draws. If you see one in your starting hand, amazing. If not the end of the world. You're gonna get her out with your Z extra. She's only here so that you can awaken. And then, 2 copies of this Gohan. You play him with the Z extra. So unless you're extremely unlucky and they're both in your hand or in your lives, you're gonna get them out with the Z extra. 2 copies of this Gohan, if you just happen to see him. Well, basically what this one does is for 1 energy you EX evolve on top of the other one, and basically when he's played, you draw 1, you switch into active mode, and you play 1 Piccolo bestowed power from your deck with its skills negated. And then you also grab there is a trigger on the Z extra that grabs you the orange Piccolo. So Piccolo Bestowed Power is also just 2 copies, skills negated, so it doesn't matter. In case that he's in your hand, you can play him for 1 energy if you have 3 or more energy and your opponent has Pan. If you play him like this, you give something minus 20. And then the final piece of the horribly big engine is 2 copies of Orange Piccolo. Basically, for 1 energy, you EX evolve over the normal one, and then when he's played, you draw 1, switch into active mode, and he becomes a 25k for the turn. Activate main. If you have a card that you don't really run in the deck, something happens. So activate main doesn't really exist. So basically, you use the Pan, you play this Gohan, on top of him, you get to cheat the Piccolo out. When the Piccolo is out, you get to get this one from the deck, you evolve, and then you can awaken. We are only running the barest of bare minimum copies because the engine is really, really bad and we don't want to clutter our deck with it. Now let's check out the rest. So the goal is to Z-awaken, right? First thing that we need to see is how to deal with barrier. That's been one of the biggest issues of the deck. So we are running 3 copies of the Goku SR, the boss monster, and we are running 2 copies of Ox King so that we can get our auto. Basically, for 2 energy, if there is a battle card in play with 30k or more, which there's always gonna be, play him, play the Ox King, and then KO something 30k power or less, ignoring barrier. So we need to run 2 copies of the Ox King. We absolutely need to, because we need to make sure that we see him. Then we go into the big payoff. So basically, once you go into the Z leader and your 20k double, you can use Omega Shenron. For 2 energy, just play him, and then you just neg something by minus 30. Because he says you give minus 3k for each card in your Z energy, and if your leader is a Z leader, you give something minus 30. So yeah, this card is phenomenal. This is Activate Battle. You can use this on your opponent's turn. This card, on top of everything, is a 30k triple striker. Yeah, you will want to abuse this card. So we're looking at things that can help you push damage, then we'll look at stuff to survive. Speaking of stuff to survive, let's go. First off, Shlong Boss Monster. This one is great. So for 2 energy, you play him, sure, and then basically what he says is he's 25k double. If you don't get the Piccolo effect off, you should get it because you need to block with the Piccolo and everything else. If you get the Piccolo under him, then he's a dual attacker. The big thing, when this card is played, choose up to one of your leaders, he gets plus 5k for the turn. Never ever look at the Awakened leader. What you want to look at is this dude right here. He's 20k double. When you play the boss monster, he's 25k double for your turn and for your opponent's turn. That's what you're aiming for. You're pushing 25k double with the leader, and then you're defending behind the 25k leader. You also have some more firepower here with Gammas, 3 copies. Activate Battle, you play them for 1 energy, draw 1, give something plus 10k power, then give them plus 5k power, and then you can also combo with them. So if you need extra damage or if you need extra defenses, let's say that your leader is 25, you pay 1, you play the Gamma, he becomes 35 for the battle, and you draw a card. You can do the same when you're pushing 35k. Then we're playing this dude. This card is phenomenal. So for 1 energy, you play him on your opponent's turn, you give your leader plus 5k. It's another way to make your Z leader 25k baseline for the entirety of your opponent's turn. For 1 energy, make your leader 25k. That's big enough for some decks to just not be able to deal with. Though some meta decks are 30ks, and we will address that as well. 1 copy of Cellmax. You can cut this one out. I just placed it here because I love Cellmax. And now something a bit unorthodox. 4 copies of Baby and 3 copies of Widell. Yeah, I think that the Unison package is also something that you need to run in this deck. The problem is that while you have a lot of defensive options, you don't really have ways to remove stuff and to kill your opponent. That's why you're running Babies. You can just play them on turn 3. And that's why you're running Widell's as counterplays. So this is probably one of the best, if not the best, red Unison in the game. It's a removal, it's free draw, it helps you keep drawing, and then you just have Widell to minus 20k cards. Then we have one Vegeta Royal Evolution, because please hear me out. If you play this on offense, right, you play the Shlonku Boss Monster, your leader becomes 25k double. You swing. If your opponent has no negates, let's say they're on 3 lives, no problem. Combo with the Vegeta, become 30k double, and then pay 1, restand the leader, and your leader is 30k single now. And that's before you use gammas, before you combo, before you do anything else. He's 30k single, that can help you close the game. 4 copies of Reddits. I wanted to see would it be possible to use the new Piccolo Super Combo. Unfortunately not, because you have to be on 4 lives. So otherwise I would run it. I would run it non-stop. 2 copies, now we're at Negates. 2 copies of Imposing Presence. The good thing about Imposing Presence, because you give -10 and then you give -5 to everything, that is effectively as if you just gave your leader plus 5k, because you -5 everything. If you play Vegeta along with it, at that point it's like you gave your leader plus 10k. It's almost as if you're running a 30k leader. And you're giving -5, which is amazing. 2 copies of Unending Awakening. I would bump it up if I had more room. This card is amazing. So for 1 energy, negate the attack, give your leader plus 5. Sure. Are you feeling that the big Kitku, big SS4 Vegito 30k attackers are going to beat you, even though you have played your Shlonku Boss Monster? Unending Awakening, now you're 30k, next attack, play the Vegeta, activate battle, now you're 35, you're immediately out of range of everything, and then you need to start comboing, and then your opponent needs to start comboing, and then you just follow up. 4 copies of Violent Rays. And now you might be thinking, like, Damien, are you insane? Why 4 copies of Violent Rays? Why no Explosive Dance? Explosive Dance is the only card in the side deck. Card. Yeah, I've been thinking of Bojack lately. I think that in the main, you would start with these ones, and then you can just side them out. The thing is, everything is 30k. Everything is 30k now. That's the big problem, right? So Explosive Dance is not as good as it used to be. It's just not as good as it used to be. Plus you need to be down to 4. Yeah, you will go down to 4 with this deck anyway. But Violent Rays, 1 energy, pitch a card and then just up a bunch of things from attacking is amazing. If you're facing a deck which isn't all 30ks, then you side in Explosive Dance. 1 testing the opposition. You can take it out if you want to run Unending Awakening. I'm just thinking like, hey, free negate. And finally the SCR, SS4 Vegito. I have been considering trying out Golden Cooler in this one. Honestly, I have been considering trying Golden Cooler. However, this thing gives your leader plus 10k. And then your leader is, for free, you are 30k double. If you play the Shlonku Boss Monster, you're 35k double. If you play these guys, you're 40k to 45 double. So yeah, you want to run this card. Unless you feel confident enough to run the Golden Cooler. And then when it comes to the Z deck, 3 copies of this dude. This dude is great. Usually 99% of the time he's a 1 cost. You play him, you KO something, 30k or less. Not ignoring barrier. And then he can become 25 double. 1 rush attack, of course. 1 Defender of Life, one of the Z Unisons, maybe it's helpful at some point, and then just the Red Ribbon Army and the Special Beam Cannon. So Red Ribbon Army is the one that helps you awaken. Like it says here, when you play the normal Piccolo, you get the orange one. And this thing doubles down as a barrier removal. So you have 2 copies of barrier removal here, you have 3 copies here, that's 5. That's enough to decimate a couple of decks. So yeah, and the side deck is just Explosive Dance. We are running 53 cards, and the deck list is in the description below. That's it for the video. Let me know in the comments below, will you try out this deck? Are you already playing this deck? What do you think of the leader? What do you think of the archetype? Do you like the build? Are you gonna try and give it a go? Hopefully it inspires at least some of you. And yeah, I'm sorry that this one was a bit unorthodox, a bit lazy. I've missed some slides, but I'm really just like, I'm in the middle of work. I'm just filming this half hour before I need to just continue working on stuff. Plus I've been occupied getting the Lorcana channel started, which is gonna launch next Monday, hopefully on Monday. Anyways guys, let me know in the comments below. I read all of your comments, I try to respond to everything. I love our little community. And while you're here, share the video around, hit those like and subscribe buttons, help us get to 6k subs when I'm gonna give away a booster box. This has been Damien from The Lookout, and I'll see all of you in the next video.